Health doesn't always come from expensive diets, trendy supplements, or complicated workout plans. In Japan, it's often built through simple habits that people follow every single day without even thinking about them. That's one of the biggest reasons the country is known for its long life expectancy and active lifestyle. Today, we're counting down 10 Japanese habits that quietly put many people ahead of the average Western lifestyle. These aren't extreme routines or impossible wellness hacks. They're practical, everyday choices that add up over time, proving that small habits, repeated consistently, can make a bigger difference than the latest health trend. Let's begin the countdown. 1. Balanced portion-controlled meals. One of the biggest reasons Japanese eating habits are admired isn't because of a single superfood or miracle ingredient. It's the way every meal is built around balance. Instead of oversized portions, a traditional Japanese meal usually includes modest servings of rice, fish, or another protein, vegetables, soup, and a few small side dishes. The goal isn't to eat as much as possible, but to enjoy a variety of foods in sensible amounts. Another defining habit is knowing when to stop. Many people eat until they're comfortably satisfied rather than completely full, making overeating far less common. Meals also tend to rely on fresh ingredients, lighter flavors, and less processed food, allowing the natural taste of each ingredient to stand out. Over time, these simple choices can make a real difference. Japan's approach reminds us that lasting health rarely comes from extreme diets or short-term trends. More often, it's built through balanced meals, mindful portions, and everyday habits that nourish the body consistently for years. 2. More fish, less red meat. One of the healthiest habits you'll find in Japan is surprisingly simple: eating fish on a regular basis. In many Japanese homes, fish isn't saved for special occasions. It's an everyday part of life. Whether it's grilled salmon at breakfast, mackerel for lunch, or seafood served with dinner, it's a natural part of the menu. That means many people enjoy its health benefits without following a strict diet or counting calories. Fish is rich in high-quality protein and omega-3 fatty acids, nutrients that support heart health, brain function, and overall well-being. It also tends to contain less saturated fat than many processed or fatty meats, making it a lighter choice for everyday meals. Just as importantly, it's prepared in simple, flavorful ways that highlight fresh ingredients instead of heavy sauces. Japan's approach reminds us that lasting health isn't usually built through dramatic changes. More often, it comes from small, consistent habits that become part of daily life. And choosing fish regularly is one of those quiet habits that can make a meaningful difference over time. 3. Daily walking and active transport. One of the healthiest habits in Japan doesn't start in a gym. It starts the moment people leave their homes. Walking is simply part of everyday life. Whether they're commuting to work, catching a train, shopping, or meeting friends, many people naturally stay active throughout the day. Even those who use public transportation usually walk to stations, climb stairs, and cover short distances on foot without thinking twice about it. That steady movement may not seem impressive, but it adds up over time. Instead of relying on occasional intense workouts, physical activity becomes a normal part of the daily routine. The beauty of this habit is that it doesn't feel like exercise or require special equipment. It's simply woven into everyday life, making it much easier to maintain for years. Japan's example reminds us that good health isn't always about doing more. It's often about moving more consistently. Sometimes choosing to walk a little farther or take the stairs is enough to create lasting benefits that quietly improve your health over time. 4. Tea instead of sugary drinks. One of the simplest reasons many people in Japan stay healthier isn't hidden in their meals. It's in what they choose to drink. Instead of reaching for sugary sodas every day, many people naturally prefer green tea, barley tea, roasted tea, or plain water. These aren't trendy health drinks. They're simply part of everyday life. That small habit quietly cuts down on added sugar and unnecessary calories without feeling like a sacrifice. Green tea in particular is packed with natural antioxidants and has long been associated with a healthy lifestyle, although no single drink is a miracle cure. Its real value comes from being part of a balanced way of living. Of course, people in Japan still enjoy soft drinks and sweet treats from time to time, but they're usually an occasional choice rather than the daily default. That's the real lesson. Lasting health is often built through small decisions repeated every day. Swapping one sugary drink for a cup of unsweetened tea may seem insignificant today, but over the years, that simple habit can make a meaningful difference to your overall health. 5. Mindful eating and slower pace. One of the healthiest habits in Japan has very little to do with what people eat and everything to do with how they eat. Meals are rarely treated as something to rush through. Instead, many people take their time, enjoying each bite and giving their full attention to the food in front of them. That slower pace gives the body time to recognize when it's satisfied, making it much easier to avoid overeating. It also turns eating into a more enjoyable experience where flavor, texture, and presentation are appreciated instead of overlooked. Of course, life in Japan can be busy too, but there's still a strong culture of slowing down when it's time to eat. That's a lesson worth paying attention to. Better health doesn't always begin with changing what's on your plate. Sometimes it starts by changing your pace. Eating a little more slowly, chewing properly, and listening to your body's natural signals are simple habits that can improve digestion, reduce overeating, and build a healthier relationship with food over time. 6. Fresher, less processed food. One of the quiet strengths of the Japanese diet is its focus on fresh, simple ingredients. In many households, home-style cooking is still an important part of everyday life. Meals are often prepared using fresh vegetables, fish, rice, tofu, seasonal produce, and other whole ingredients rather than relying heavily on ready-made or ultra-processed foods. The goal isn't to create complicated recipes, it's to let the natural flavor of the ingredients speak for themselves. That approach can make a meaningful difference over time. Ultra-processed foods often contain high amounts of added sugar, unhealthy fats, sodium, and artificial additives designed to extend shelf life or enhance flavor. While enjoying them occasionally isn't a problem, building a diet around fresh ingredients naturally reduces the amount of those extras that end up on your plate. It also encourages a better balance of vitamins, minerals, fiber, and high-quality nutrients that the body needs every day. Another thing that stands out is the simplicity of many Japanese meals. Instead of covering food with heavy sauces or excessive seasoning, dishes are often lightly prepared to preserve their original taste and texture. This creates meals that feel satisfying without being overly rich or overwhelming. It also helps people develop an appreciation for the food itself, instead of constantly chasing stronger flavors. Of course, Japan has convenience foods and fast food restaurants just like any other country, and eating habits vary from person to person. But home-cooked meals made with fresh ingredients remain a common part of daily life for many families, helping create healthier routines without strict dieting or complicated meal plans. Perhaps that's the real lesson. Good nutrition doesn't always come from expensive health products or trendy eating plans. It often starts with choosing real ingredients and preparing simple meals that nourish the body. When fresh food becomes the foundation of everyday eating instead of an occasional choice, healthy habits begin to feel natural rather than forced. Over time, those ordinary decisions can have an extraordinary impact on long-term health, proving that sometimes the simplest way of eating is also the smartest. 7. Strong routine and sleep culture. One of the most underrated health habits in Japan has nothing to do with food or exercise. It has to do with consistency. Many people follow regular daily routines, wake up at similar times, eat meals on a predictable schedule, and try to maintain fairly consistent bedtimes. While modern life can certainly be demanding, there's still a strong understanding that rest isn't a luxury. It's an essential part of staying healthy. Sleep plays a much bigger role in our well-being than many people realize. A good night's rest helps the body recover, supports brain function, regulates hormones, and improves mood and concentration. It also influences appetite. When people don't get enough quality sleep, they're often more likely to crave sugary snacks, overeat, and feel too tired to stay active. Simply sleeping well can make it easier to maintain healthy habits in every other part of life. Another important part of this lifestyle is having a steady rhythm. Following regular routines helps the body's internal clock work more efficiently, making it easier to fall asleep, wake up feeling refreshed, and stay energized throughout the day. Instead of constantly shifting between late nights and early mornings, consistency allows the body to function at its best. Of course, no one has a perfect schedule all the time, and Japan is no exception. Busy workdays and long commutes can sometimes make getting enough sleep difficult. But the broader idea of respecting rest and maintaining daily routines remains an important part of a balanced lifestyle. Perhaps that's the biggest lesson. Good health isn't only built through intense workouts or strict diets. It's also built during the hours when your body is recovering. Creating a regular bedtime, giving yourself enough sleep, and following a consistent daily routine may not seem exciting, but those simple habits can have a lasting impact on your weight, mental health, energy levels, and overall well-being. In the end, one of the smartest things you can do for your body isn't pushing it harder. It's giving it the time it needs to rest, recover, and prepare for another healthy day. 8. Community and social connection. One of the most powerful health habits in Japan isn't something you can buy or measure. It's the value placed on human connection. Across many communities, relationships with family, neighbors, friends, and local groups remain an important part of everyday life. Whether it's sharing a meal, greeting familiar faces, taking part in local festivals, or simply checking in on one another, these small moments of connection help create a stronger sense of belonging. They may seem ordinary, but over time they can have a remarkable impact on both mental and physical health. Feeling connected to other people plays a much bigger role in well-being than many of us realize. Strong social relationships can help reduce stress, ease feelings of loneliness, and provide emotional support during life's difficult moments. Knowing that someone is there to listen, encourage you, or simply spend time with you can make challenges feel far less overwhelming. That emotional stability often leads to healthier habits, better sleep, lower stress levels, and an improved quality of life. Another important lesson is that community isn't only built through major events. It's created through simple, consistent interactions that become part of daily life. A friendly conversation with a neighbor, a shared activity, or a regular gathering with friends may seem insignificant on its own, but together they help build trust, comfort, and a genuine sense of connection. Of course, modern Japan faces many of the same social challenges as other developed countries, and not everyone experiences the same level of community support. But the cultural value placed on respect, cooperation, and maintaining relationships continues to shape everyday life in meaningful ways. Perhaps that's the biggest takeaway. A healthy life isn't built on nutrition and exercise alone. Emotional well-being matters just as much. Having people you can rely on, feeling connected to your community, and sharing life's ordinary moments with others are all powerful forms of medicine that don't come in a bottle. In the end, one of the greatest secrets to long-term health may simply be this: people thrive when they know they don't have to face life alone. 9. Respect for body signals. One of the most valuable health lessons from Japan isn't about following strict rules, it's about paying attention to your body. Rather than constantly counting calories, chasing the latest diet trend, or labeling foods as completely good or bad, many people grow up with a more balanced relationship with eating. Meals are often guided by hunger, satisfaction, and moderation instead of extremes. That simple mindset can make healthy living feel much more natural and sustainable. Instead of eating simply because the clock says it's time or finishing every bite out of habit, people are often encouraged to notice when they're genuinely hungry and when they've had enough. Listening to those signals helps prevent overeating, while also reducing the pressure that comes from rigid food rules. Eating becomes less of a battle and more of a conversation with your own body. The same balanced thinking often extends beyond food. People learn to recognize when they need rest, when they're running low on energy, and when it's time to slow down instead of constantly pushing themselves. That awareness helps create a healthier rhythm between activity and recovery, making it easier to avoid exhaustion and burnout over the long term. Of course, no one listens to their body perfectly all the time, and Japan is no exception. Modern life can be busy, stressful, and demanding anywhere in the world, but the broader idea of respecting your body's signals instead of constantly ignoring them offers an important lesson that many people can benefit from. Perhaps that's the biggest takeaway. A healthy lifestyle isn't built by following impossible rules every day. It's built by developing habits that you can actually live with for years. Learning to recognize hunger before you eat, stopping when you're comfortably full, and respecting your body's need for rest creates a healthier relationship with food and with yourself. In the end, the goal isn't perfection, it's balance. And sometimes the smartest thing you can do for your health is simply slow down, pay attention, and trust the signals your body has been giving you all along. 10. Lifestyle over shortcuts. And finally, at number 10, we come to what may be the most important habit of all. In Japan, good health is rarely treated as a short-term project. It isn't something people focus on only after gaining weight, receiving a health scare, or making a New Year's resolution. Instead, health is woven into everyday life through small decisions that are repeated consistently over many years. That's what makes the biggest difference. Rather than chasing dramatic transformations, many healthy habits become part of a normal routine. Walking instead of driving whenever possible, eating balanced meals, choosing smaller portions, drinking tea instead of sugary soft drinks, getting enough rest, and staying connected with family and community all happen naturally. None of these habits seem extraordinary on their own, but together they create a lifestyle that supports long-term health without feeling restrictive. This way of thinking also removes much of the pressure that often comes with modern wellness culture. There's less focus on finding the perfect diet, the newest supplement, or the latest fitness trend. Instead, the goal is consistency. Doing the simple things well day after day often produces far better results than making extreme changes that are impossible to maintain. Of course, Japan isn't perfect, and people there face many of the same health challenges as the rest of the world. But one lesson stands out above everything else. Lasting health is usually the result of ordinary choices made over a lifetime, not extraordinary efforts made for a few weeks. Perhaps that's the biggest takeaway from this entire countdown. If you want to become healthier, you don't have to change your whole life overnight. Start by improving one daily habit, then another, and let those small improvements become part of your routine. Over time, they begin to shape who you are without requiring constant effort or motivation. In the end, the healthiest lifestyle isn't the one that looks the most impressive online. It's the one you can actually live with every single day. That's the quiet secret behind Japan's approach to health, and it's a lesson that people anywhere in the world can learn from. And that's our countdown of 10 Japanese habits that quietly give many people a healthier lifestyle than what's common in much of the Western world. None of these habits are extreme, expensive, or impossible to follow. In fact, that's exactly what makes them so powerful. They're simple choices woven into everyday life. Walking a little more, eating balanced meals, drinking less sugar, getting enough rest, staying connected with others, and paying attention to what your body really needs. On their own, each habit may seem small, but repeated day after day, year after year, they can completely change the way you feel and the way you age. The biggest lesson isn't that you have to live exactly like the Japanese. It's that lasting health doesn't usually come from quick fixes or dramatic changes. It comes from building routines you can actually stick with for the long run. Small improvements, practiced consistently, almost always beat perfect habits that only last a few weeks. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 10 habits do you think would be the easiest to bring into your own daily life? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and join me for more fascinating insights into cultures and lifestyles from around the world. Your next healthy habit might be just one video away.